I love Jay-Z.
It makes it easier to bear.
The last time you were here, you were talking about pocket pussies and,
Yeah.
and Blue Mountain
forgot.
State, you know?
Yeah. Last time was a blur because I was dealing with so much stuff the
Yeah.
night before, so I don't even remember what I said. But. And can I tell a little story about dildo?
That time you came is during
Yes.
the hotel fiasco.
Right.
And it happened after you left, or?
No, it happened before.
Yeah, you came in
I
and
came
then
and I
I
was
couldn't
hoping
really,
that
yeah.
it wouldn't break while doing interviews, and I think while I was here was when it got out.
You know, that's what I like about this book, because it feels like you're talking to me in this book. It's not.
It does.
It
That's
doesn't
great.
feel like a writer wrote it.
That's what I wanted. I wanted people to feel like they were sitting down with me having a conversation.
Even when you went to Japan and you saw the roaches and all that, I was like, wow. I was like, wow. You know, I went to Japan. I was like, where the roaches were at, yo? You saw some big roaches? Like, you were like,
I did, yeah.
Are you serious, yo?
Yeah, no, it was where I was at, yes.
Because I thought, people would be extremely happy to travel, like, especially if you have an opportunity to go overseas. You were really scared to go. You were scared of flights.
That was my first time of being away from home.
Oh,
I
okay.
was 17, 18 years old. So I was going by myself. Nobody traveled with me. I was excited to go and I wanted to see the world. But, for a young girl at my age to go on my own, it was very daunting.
That was before the boob jobs and everything. You were just you were regular. Insecure.
Was I not
Now
regular
you're extremely
after the
hot.
jobs?
No, you're hotter.
No. Yeah, it was before.
Congratulations on your new adoptee.
Thank you.
Wow.
My new baby daughter.
Where's she at? You haven't
She's
you have her
here.
here? Where's she
I
at?
don't have her at Sirius, but she's in New York.
I wanted to hold her and burp her.
That's so sweet. Thank
Oh,
you.
my
She's
Lord.
napping.
Oh.
But yes, it's Eloise's first trip to New York. I brought all the kids out here, even though I'm doing press. I wanted to make a little vacation out of it for all of us, too.
You gonna take them to Disney after this, or you gonna take them to I don't know, Acapulco or something? I don't know.
Well, this week we're in New York.
Okay.
We're seeing. I'm taking them to Cirque du Soleil.
I saw you on The View. Like, you really couldn't find, like, out of all the hunks out there, like, nobody could, like, fornicate with you to make a baby. You said you couldn't find a guy to make a baby on it.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I thought that's what you said. Well, that's why it came out as.
I said I could have. Yeah, I mean, I would have had no problem physically.
I know I was going to give you mine. I was like, you want mine? You can take mine.
No, what I said. If
Okay,
you were
explain it clearly.
watching,
Yeah.
It's funny how guys pick out what
Yeah.
they want to hear.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
I said I either wait for the right partner. I think there's a difference in just someone to have sex with and the right partner. So I could either wait for the right partner or I could do it on my own.
Oh, okay.
But I've always wanted to adopt anyway.
Okay, that's nice.
A long time. So that's why I chose the adoption route. But I don't physically have a problem getting pregnant.
I believe you don't.
Have sex with someone.
I believe you don't. And that ring is amazing, yo.
Thank you.
What is that before we get into music? What is that?
The designer is Rich Rocks.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, ew, it's like making me want to like break dance or something, right?
Maybe we should get you one.
You're tired of the Charlie Sheen questions. Everywhere you go, they annihilate you with them. So, but this is not a bashing of Charlie Sheen.
No.
So can you explain the Charlie Sheen part of it?
I didn't want to do a tell-all. I didn't want to throw him under the bus. But I do get into our marriage and divorce, and I talk more about my feelings because I think that a lot of men and women going through that can relate to that. You know, when you feel guilty and feel sad and anger and all of that. And so I'm definitely very raw and honest and open about that in the book.
I invented sweat.
You stated this is not the man I married, but this is the man I divorced. That's a very powerful quote right there. Like,
it's
especially when
true.
you see him, you see how he's going downhill, but you think he could come back from all this?
Yeah, people don't, we've been divorced actually 6 years. So for me, a lot of this hasn't been new or recent. But with that said, I definitely think Charlie will have a comeback. He's a survivor and people love him. So I definitely think he'll come back.
Are you going to watch the first episode of 2.5 Men with Ashton Kutcher? Do people ask you that?
No, they just asked how I felt about him being on the show. And I actually think Ashton will do a great job. I think he's a great actor and he's very funny and charming.
Okay, yeah, he is funny though.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's hard to see Charlie off the show because he it was made for him, but it'll take it in a different direction, and he'll make it his own. I think he'll do a great job.
Don't you miss the old days though? Like, do you miss that?
I think that like I said, it's been 6 years since we were together, and we've moved on from each other.
Everything's for sale. Got 5 passports. I'm never going to jail.
In the book, like the behind the scenes of the movies, like how the directors try to come at you to get naked and stuff like that. I was like, I didn't, you like explain it so clearly. I couldn't believe like they really, especially like Starship Troopers, they wanted you to show boobs on there.
I love Paul Verhoeven, and he and I had a great relationship, and he was just wrote this new scene, so which I didn't think was fighting bugs. Like, where does the nudity come into
Yeah, I was like,
I wasn't part of the other where they had the shower scene, so I wasn't part of all of that, so I just didn't know how it made sense. But I do talk about Starship in my book. I talk about Wild Things and all the movies that I did.
But you actually cared about the movie because the movie was $100 million budget, and you were like you thought about every time they asked you to get naked. Like,
well, because
it was like a meeting or something.
I wanted it. It was one time that after I got the movie and we started filming, that's when he approached me. But he was actually very respectful, and he understood where I was coming from. It was a little intimidating to ask the director who, it was my first movie. People didn't know who I was. But then the movie after, I do take my clothes off. So, but for that movie, it made sense.
Yeah, of course. One of my favorite chapters in the book is the naked one, and then a lot of behind the scenes, and then I didn't know Elizabeth Berkley. You wanted that role in that movie, and she got annihilated. Are you happy you didn't take for Showgirls? Are you happy you didn't?
I was happy, because I got Starship Troopers.
Yeah, instead.
So I think things obviously
worked out for the best. But she got like buried for that movie.
She did not deserve it. She was great in it.
That was the first movie that demanded like a lot of like toplessness, and
I think so. Well, I think after Basic Instinct, Paul Verhoeven directed that, and he was hot off of that, and I did Showgirls.
And you were nervous as hell, like
Troopers. Yeah, because when you go into a role that's has any sort of nudity and you've never done it before, it's definitely nerve-wracking.
And then Wild Things. This was funny because I didn't. You agreed to show one boob, but then
2 boobs showed.
It doesn't really get that technical, like
I was dying because it was in my. There's like a nudity waiver you have to do, and then they would send sketches, which they do a lot of, and they were email or sending sketches back and forth of how much the storyboards of what that scene would be. With my breasts, how much the nipple would show, and this and that. I was so mortified. I'm like, it's just fine. It's fine. Just like, we don't need sketches going to back and forth.
How was it to do a threesome with Matt Damon, yo?
Matt Dillon.
Oh, Matt Dillon. I'm sorry, Matt Dillon.
I don't know
Matt
how
Damon.
it is with Matt Damon.
Kevin Bacon was in that movie also.
Yeah,
right?
Kevin was great. I loved doing that movie and working with the actors that I worked with, and doing those kinds of things are very technical.
My Lord,
they're not as sexy when you're filming them. So I'm glad that it came across sexy.
Hollywood Shuffle.
Women are gonna love this book because they can relate, especially going through a divorce and the lying to the kids, like to protect them. Was that hard? Like years and years of like.
No, I think from day one I always wanted to make it about the kids, but certain circumstances between us made it difficult. But yeah, I think when you're going through divorce, you got to put all your crap aside and focus on the kids, and it's hard to do. There's a lot of feelings there.
Oh, the loss one?
I lost my mom.
Oh wow,
yeah, the hardest chapter to write. But we all have to face that one day, and it's difficult. And I faced it a little earlier than I thought, but that was definitely the hardest one to write.
You're so cheery, like you went through so much. Like
I did,
and then you went rock bottom.
I did hit rock bottom. I couldn't get a job. People thought I was nuts because of my divorce and other things. So no one would hire me. I lost my mom during that time. I was going through a heated custody battle. So I went through a lot, but I'm on the other side of it.
Baby.
I have a new baby. My life is great. Kids are healthy. So I have a lot to be grateful for.
You're not the reason why, you weren't the destruction of Richie Sambora. It's like,
no.
Y'all both divorced, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Richie
you talk about that in the book too,
I do
right?
talk about that because there was a lot of misconception.
Yeah.
I understand why it was perceived the way it was, but he was divorced and I was divorced before we got together. I did not wreck anyone.
So that's like legal banging. That's cool.
It was legal banging.
Can
I'll see if they have pocket pussies available for sale, and we can give them away.